Yes, hi everyone. So in the previous session, we have discussed that how to convert the management issues into the mathematical equations. All right. So we were discussing how to formulate the equations. Is it right? Now in today's topic, we'll just go ahead one step and we'll try to identify in the available constraint in the manufacturing unit, in the available constraint, how many number of products can be manufactured in a company. All right, so that we will try to determine today. All right, and also we will also discuss what will be the total profit that the firm can earn with the available constraint. All right, now we'll just see this particular problem. This is the problem statement. They have said that z is equal to, that is the maximum profit, z is equal to 40x1 plus 35x2. Okay, so next is, it is subject to 2x1 plus 3x2 smaller than or equal to 60, where this is nothing but this is a raw material constraint. I think this problem we have already solved previously and we had arrived at this particular equation. Is it right? Now similar problem or the same problem we have considered, and we will just go ahead and we will try to identify what is x1 value and x2 value. Okay, x1 and x2 values we will try to determine. So next is 4x1 plus 3x2 smaller than or equal to 96. This is labor hour constraint, and x1 comma x2 greater than or equal to 0. So all these things are given in the problem statement. We are supposed to solve this problem using simplex method. Okay, next it is given that x1 is number of product A manufactured by the manufacturing unit, and x2 is the total number of product B manufactured. Okay, all right, now going ahead, we can see that yes, so simplex method, always we are supposed to remember that whatever equations are given, that we are supposed to that will be having certain type of inequalities. Is it right? So 2x1 plus 3x2 smaller than or equal to 60, this is the first equation, correct, in the problem statement, and this has a inequality sign. We are supposed to convert that inequality sign, and we have to see that there is a equality sign before we start the solution. Okay, so how to do that? Now what this sign means is that this component is less than 60. Okay, this complete component is less than 60. Now how do we make it equal? We add some component called as s1. So this step is necessary and mandatory before we start the solution. Okay, so we try to balance both the sides, that is LHS as well as RHS. Before it was not balanced, now it is balanced. Okay, now we will try to see what each thing stands for. Okay, so 2x1 here, 2x1 is nothing but it is the total raw material required for manufacturing product A. Okay, so this we have already seen in the previous problem, correct, where we formulated LPP equations. So 2x1 is nothing but it is the total raw material required for manufacturing x1 number of product A, and similarly 3x2 is nothing but, this 3x2 is nothing but raw material required for manufacturing product B. We can mention it as x2 units. If we want to manufacture x2 number of product B, then this is the total raw material 3x2. And finally we will see what is s1. S1 is nothing but after manufacturing product A and product B, certain raw materials will be unused. Okay, that is nothing but s1. It is unused raw material, correct. For example, if the company manufactures this pencil as well as this pen. Okay, so both these products, if they are manufacturing, after manufacturing these two products, certain raw material will be unused. Is it right? So that component is nothing but s1. Okay, so that is nothing but the meaning of this statement. S1 is nothing but it is the unused raw material. All right, 60 kgs is the total available raw material for the manufacturing firm. Okay, Alright, so we will go ahead. Similarly, we are supposed to do with the second equation also, that is the labor hour constraint. This was the labor hour constraint, is it right? So that is given in the question, correct? So second equation is 4x1 plus 3x2 plus s2 is equal to 96. So we have directly balanced it. Before it was 4x1. The question in the question, this equation was given as 4x1 plus 3x2 smaller than or equal to 96, correct? So this is nothing but this is equation number 2 in the question statement. Now what we have done is we have balanced both the sides, LHS and RHS, by adding S2. Alright. Now what this means is 4x1 means it is the total labor hours required only for product A. 3x2 means it is the total labor hours required only for product B. Okay, only for product B. And S2 is nothing but it is again unused labor hours. Okay, and 96 hours is nothing but it is the total available labor hours. That means the laborers will work for these many hours. Okay, so this is the given scenario. So all are consolidated here. So we can write equation 1, 2 and 3 as 2x1 plus 3x2 plus s1 is equal to 60, 4x1 plus 3x2 plus s2 is equal to 96. Alright, so already we have derived this equation, the same equations are written here. So this is all derived. Z is equal to 40x1 plus 35x2. Alright, so we are writing all the three equations 4, 5 and 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 becomes now 4, 5, 6. Next, we can write equation 4, 5, 6 as what we are trying to do in this particular equation is nothing but we are trying to introduce S2. In this equation 4 there was no S2. Now we are trying to introduce S2 to this. If you multiply 0 to S2, again it will be equal to 0 itself. So it will not make any change to the equation, to the existing equation. So that is the reason 0 is being multiplied. Again, if you have to see the next equation, if you have to see 0 into S2 is nothing but 0 into S1 is nothing but it is equal to 0. So this equation and this equation doesn't have much difference. Okay, so this equation as well as this equation doesn't have much difference. Both are same because finally these are 0. Okay, now profit equation again we are writing like this. This will be equal to 0. This will be equal to 0. Alright, is it right? So this is the first part of the problem. Okay, now important point is nothing but before we start the solution, we have to see that we are introducing all the variables in each of the equations. x1, x2, s1, s2. Here also x1, x2, s1, s2. Here also we have x1, x2, s1, s2. Okay, so it is mandatory that you have to introduce all the variables in all the three equations. Okay. Alright, so we'll just go ahead. We'll go ahead here.